This is the Life by Design with Angela Weiss podcast, episode 38, the Thursday mini mental health episode, Permission to Stand Down, when you thought you were doing better and then life happened. Have you ever thought, I was doing so good, I was doing better, and then life got lifey, life happened, and suddenly you weren't so sure anymore. Maybe your anxiety got louder again, or your body got tense again, or maybe you found yourself carrying everything again, thinking about everything, all the things, holding your breath, pushing through, and now you're wondering, wait, what happened? Did I lose all the progress? Am I right back where I started? If that's where you are, this episode is for you. I'm Angela Weiss, nurse practitioner, author, and someone who has spent years walking alongside people carrying more than most people around them ever realize. And honestly, carrying a lot myself, right? So before we begin, take a slow breath with me. Inhale and exhale. Wherever you are, if you're driving or walking or working or sitting in your kitchen trying to hold 12 different pieces of life together at once, I'm really glad you're here. Also, this is not a polished podcast. The dogs are going to bark and the cats are going to wander through, and I'm probably going to stumble over my words or whatever. This is real life. And I want this to feel like a place where you can show up and be real too, without needing to have yourself all together. Oh, look, there's the microwave going off. Can you hear that in the background? Over the last several weeks, we've talked about survival mode. We've talked about what your body is trying to tell you and the cost of carrying too much, learning to stand down without losing yourself in the middle of it, and what life can feel like when your nervous system finally starts to settle. Today, I want to talk about something that I think matters deeply, because people hear conversations about healing and about regulation, about slowing down, and sometimes they start believing something that isn't actually true. That once you're doing better, you should stay there, right? That things don't get messy again. That once you've made the progress, you shouldn't struggle. You shouldn't get overwhelmed again. You shouldn't find yourself back in old patterns again. And then you do. And that can feel discouraging and confusing. Maybe even a little defeating, because you think, I thought I was past this. I thought I was better. But I want to offer you another perspective today. Healing, growth, nervous system work, learning to stand down, none of that's a straight line. Life still happens. Stress still happens. Loss still happens. Hard seasons still happen. Relationships still get complicated. Work still gets heavy and bodies still get tired. Schedules still get overloaded, and grief anniversaries still show up on calendars. Unexpected phone calls still happen, and life sometimes still happens. And your nervous system notices that. That doesn't automatically mean that you've failed. And I think sometimes we forget that, because when your body starts getting louder again, it can feel familiar. You stop sleeping as well, and you notice your jaw is tight. Your shoulders are up near your ears, and your mind is running 3 conversations ahead of where you're currently at. You're more irritable, more emotional, more exhausted, and you're carrying things deeper again. You're trying harder again and doing that thing that you tell yourself, I'm fine, I am fine, while your body is clearly trying to file an appeal against what you are thinking and saying. And in those moments, people often decide, great, back at square one. But are you? Because I want to tell you something. I want you to think about this differently. There's a difference between living permanently in survival mode and having a nervous system responding to a genuinely difficult season or day or hour. Those are not always the same thing. If you've been carrying a lot and working long hours, holding everyone else together, navigating grief, walking through uncertainty, managing change, and dealing with health issues or financial stress, relationship stress, caregiver stress, or simply the accumulated weight of being human, your system may respond to that. That doesn't mean that all of the healing work that you've done disappeared. It means your body is communicating. And maybe instead of criticizing yourself, you get curious. What's going on right now? What am I carrying? What am I needing that I'm not allowing myself to admit to? Because the goal was never feeling stressed again, never feeling overwhelmed again. By the way, it would be nice if we could never do those things again, or maybe never struggling again. It's not realistic, and honestly, it's not kind. The goal is not perfection. The goal is noticing sooner, responding differently, coming back to yourself faster. Sometimes growth looks like I never end up in survival mode again. And maybe it's more like I recognized it sooner this time. I noticed my body getting louder. I realized I was overriding my needs again. I asked for help. I rested sooner. I rested at all. I stopped pretending I was okay when I wasn't. I didn't abandon myself this time. That matters deeply, because there are times in life where your capacity changes. Sometimes you're out there thriving. Sometimes you're healing. Sometimes you're surviving a very hard month. Sometimes you're functioning beautifully, professionally, while quietly realizing you haven't taken a real breath in weeks. And if that last part hit a little close to home, you're probably not alone. You're not alone. I think many people listening know exactly what it feels like to become very good at functioning, very good at showing up, and very good at handling all the things, very good at keeping moving. But functioning is not always the same thing as feeling okay, and sometimes your body knows that before your mind is ready to admit it. Sometimes standing down doesn't look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like recognizing I'm carrying too much again. It's getting heavy. I'm pushing past my limits again, and I'm treating rest like something I have to earn again. I'm disappearing inside responsibility again. And then responding, not with shame or criticism, not with, come on, you should be farther along than this, but with compassion, treating yourself like you would treat other people, because you're still human. And human beings do not heal in perfectly organized, upward trending emotional graphs. We heal in layers, in seasons, in moments, in setbacks that teach us something, in noticing, in returning, in remembering. And maybe that's what I want you to take with you today. If life has felt heavier lately, if your nervous system has felt louder lately, if you thought you were doing better and now you're questioning everything, I want you to hear this. You're not automatically back at the beginning or the end of the line. You have not necessarily lost all of your progress. You don't have to fail because life got heavy, because life does get heavy. And you don't fail because your body responded to the stress, because guess what? Our bodies were meant to respond. And you don't fail because you need support again. Sometimes healing looks like realizing, I know what this is now. I know what my body is trying to tell me. I know how to listen sooner. I know how to offer myself a little more grace than I used to. And that's growth too. You don't have to get it perfectly right. You don't have to be calm all the time. And you don't have to prove you're healing by never struggling again. Just notice, listen, respond to yourself with care, the care and compassion you'd give to others, and make a little room to breathe. Take what you need from this episode, because what you find helpful in here is exactly what you need, right? Leave what you don't, and keep living your life by design. This podcast is for educational purposes only. It's not intended to replace your mental health care. If you are feeling like you're in a crisis or an emergency situation, please call 911 or 988, the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. Listening does not create a provider relationship with me. I have some books on Amazon, Permission to Stand Down, and the Permission to Stand Down workbook, which I really love because it's got lots of activities that you can do to help learn how to lay the things down you've been carrying. Answering the call, that's about dispatchers. In my life as a dispatcher, when I used to do that. Standing beside the warrior, for those of you who are walking along with people who have, been carrying a lot, who struggle to put it down. And so many other books about nervous system, stress, capacity, relationships, attachment styles, grief, trauma, relationships, children's books, devotionals. I just write whatever my heart is feeling like sharing. Anyway, thank you for listening today. All across the world. I don't know who you are, but I do see people in all different areas. You know what I find really interesting, though? I do want to say this. I live in Missouri. And I have more people listening to this podcast in the United Kingdom than I do in Missouri. Isn't that crazy? Well, thank you, all of you. It's a beautiful evening here in Southeast Missouri. I hope wherever you are, you're having a beautiful day too. Take care. Oh, one more thing. Like, follow, and share so that other people can learn about this podcast too, because I'm just this, person that people don't know in the middle of nowhere, trying to instill hope into people all across the world as much as I possibly can. And if you would like to follow me, you can follow me on LinkedIn at Angela Weiss, Instagram at Angela Weiss Author, Facebook at Life by Design Press, and I'll put my author website down below. Have a great day.